Great deal.
Ryan O'Neill's cancer and plastic surgery confessions. Next ET.
Losing their cool. Thermostats are going up in California to save power. Gas prices are going way up in the Midwest. The China challenge. President Bush protests religious repression by Beijing. A young teen faces adult justice for gunning down his teacher. And the sneezing season. Why we could see an epidemic of hay fever this year.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather reporting from CBS News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. Once again, an American president is adjusting the thermostat in the midst of an energy shortage. More than 20 years after President Carter ordered U.S. government buildings to turn down the air conditioning, President Bush is saying, let's do it again, at least in California. The president today ordered a reduction in federal power use there. CBS's Bill Whitaker reports this follows criticism that President Bush is not doing enough about a growing energy crunch.
On a crisp spring day like today, it's hard to believe California's energy crisis is heating up, but it is. It's like a pressure cooker ready to blow. After first turning a deaf ear, even the White House hears the rumblings from the coast. Today, offering to help turn down the heat by turning up the thermostat and dimming the lights, like this VA hospital did today.
I'm instructing all agencies, federal agencies, to reduce their peak hour electricity use in the state of California.
Just this week, Vice President Dick Cheney dismissed conservation as not sufficient for a sound energy policy. Today, President Bush insisted they weren't sending mixed signals.
I think conservation has got to be an integral part of making sure we've got a reasonable energy policy. But what the Vice President was saying is we can't conserve our way to energy independence.
California's ruling Democrats were not impressed with his explanation or proposal.
I don't think we can take this seriously because it's lacking of attention, it's lacking in detail.
With summer heat and blackouts looming, the big state isn't just looking for some relief, it's looking for someone to blame. The state lieutenant governor is suing private power companies, accusing them of gouging the state for billions of dollars.
This is about major greed, not just about making money, not just about making great profit. We're talking about actually organizing themselves and plundering a state.
There are a number of ongoing investigations of the industry. One company, Duke Energy, has offered to pay the state millions to stop all the investigations. The industry says it's all about politics, not power.
This is unfortunate because what we should be doing, summer's 30 days away. If we are not focused on either decreasing demand or increasing supply, we're wasting our time.
No one is calling the White House plan a waste of time, but with federal agencies accounting for just 2% of California's energy use, few expect it to help much either. Dan?
Bill Whitaker. U.S. Energy Secretary Spencer Abraham predicted today that gasoline prices, now averaging $1.63 a gallon nationwide, could top out at $1.70 this summer. That's the average. In the Midwest, that already would seem like a bargain, as CBS's Cynthia Bowers reports.
Drivers in Chicago would take $1.70 a gallon in a New York minute. Here, gas is going for well over $2 a gallon.
But I don't think they can blame this one on OPEC. I'm not sure what this is all about.
Here's what it's about. That refinery fire in St. Louis is doing just what the analysts said it would, sending fuel prices up 20 cents a gallon in parts of the Midwest. At one station in Chicago, it's $2.39 for premium. All because that refinery is one of the few that makes the kind of gasoline required here by government clean air standards that mandate different fuel formulas for different areas.
By slicing and dicing the U.S. market up into so many small segments, you've got a series of smaller refining industries tied to certain sections of the country.
And that's led to a kind of refinery roulette, which means there's a chance what happened here this week could well happen someplace else next. Cynthia Bowers, CBS News, Chicago.
You may want to note that in a special series next week, the CBS Evening News will give you an up-close and in-depth look at how the country got into this energy crunch and what is and is not being done to get us out. Now, about taxes. Support may be waning some more on Capitol Hill for parts of the Bush tax cut plan. Republican Charles Grassley, chairman of the Senate Finance Committee, says Congress is not likely to approve sending tax cut rebate checks this year. Grassley also says the votes aren't there, at least not yet, for lowering the highest income tax brackets. U.S. relations with China remain very much on the front burner for the Bush administration tonight. Relations frayed by last month's collision of U.S. and Chinese military planes and disputes over Taiwan and human rights. Now, as CBS's John Roberts reports, President Bush is taking on another area of disagreement: religious freedom.
January in Beijing, 5 people set themselves on fire, a protest over China's escalating crackdown of the spiritual sect Falun Gong, what Chinese leaders call a dangerous cult. Tonight, President Bush protested months of Chinese repression against Falun Gong and mainstream religions. In remarks released by the White House, he said China is a nation that aspires to national strength and greatness, but that its acts of persecution are acts of fear and therefore weakness.
It's very strong language, but it's absolutely right.
Elliott Abrams chairs the Commission on International Religious Freedom. He has been consulting with the White House over Chinese acts of repression, including the recent imprisonment of 3 Catholic bishops. He's arguing for tough measures, such as blocking Beijing's bid for the 2008 Olympics.
The Chinese government really wants it. They want to sort of hand it to the Chinese people and say, see, we got this for you. That's exactly the reason that we should be saying, no, not while this is going on.
As the president wades into the issue of religious freedoms, he continues to press for return of the Navy spy plane. An American technical team was allowed to board the aircraft today, but threatened to pull out of Hainan Island when they were again refused power to check the onboard systems. The team has been promised they'll have electricity tomorrow. China expert Bates Gill says Mr. Bush's hard line toward Beijing is a rebalancing of the U.S.-China relationship.
I think what they're trying to do is place out some markers, sort of bottom lines, from which they think the relationship has to proceed.
But those markers have sometimes been confusing. President Bush vowed to defend Taiwan unconditionally from Chinese attack, then dialed back. Yesterday, after a Defense Department memo announced the U.S. was cutting off military-to-military contacts with China, the White House quickly recanted, declaring contacts were only being reviewed.
The White House blamed that mix-up on a staffer who misinterpreted the Secretary of Defense's policy. But sources tell CBS News tonight there was no misinterpretation, that Secretary Rumsfeld had been quite clear about a policy the DoD had been working on for weeks, and that the staffer who wrote the memo was taking the fall for yet another foreign policy misstep. Dan?
John Roberts at the White House. U.S.-China relations won't be improved by the latest case of alleged corporate spying. The FBI today charged 3 Chinese nationals with stealing software from Lucent Technologies for a Chinese company. 2 of the 3 are scientists who worked for Lucent. There is new debate over a growing national trend in criminal justice, trying juveniles accused of serious crimes as adults. Case in point, the murder trial of Nathaniel Brazil in West Palm Beach, Florida. CBS's Bobby Harley is on the scene and on the case.
Right from the start, there's been no doubt Nathaniel Brazil shot and killed his teacher. In a Florida courtroom, witness after witness has testified against him, from teachers to classmates.
You actually saw him pull the trigger?
Yes.
While pointing the gun at Mr. Bruno's head?
Yes.
And today, the actual crime was shown on a big screen. 75 seconds of what a surveillance camera caught. A then 13-year-old Brazil in his school's hallway raising a gun and firing, then running away. But not before raising the gun again and pointing it at this man.
I saw what he had in his hand. It's a little handgun.
It was Lake Worth Middle School's final day of class last May.
A teacher at the middle school has been the victim of a gunshot.
35-year-old teacher Barry Bruno was killed. Prosecutors say Brazil shot him after he was sent home early that day for throwing water balloons. Charged as an adult, he's facing life in prison. Outside the courtroom, a small group of people protested what has happened twice in Florida in just the last 2 months. Children on trial as adults. In March, it was Lionel Tate, convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison. He was only 12 when he says he accidentally killed his playmate practicing a wrestling move. But prosecutors say to the victim, age doesn't diminish the crime, something the public doesn't always remember.
They see a child on a TV camera looking scared. They don't pay attention to the cries of the victim as they were made during the commission of the offense.
Nathaniel Brazil's case is sure to increase the debate. While his own attorneys admit that he fired the fatal shot, they're trying to prove that it was all an accident. But because he's being tried as an adult, even a lesser murder charge still carries a sentence anywhere from 15 years to life in prison. Dan?
Bobby Harley in West Palm Beach, Florida. Britain has long nurtured its image as a peaceful island of law and order, very different from how the British see the U.S. But a surge of violent street crime is now bringing calls for fundamental changes in British law and law enforcement. CBS's Tom Fenton has more on assignment in Runnymede, England.
When these young men were accused of stabbing to death a black teenager, Stephen Lawrence, and were then set free on a technicality, the British public was outraged. The police were heavily criticized for mishandling the investigation. The Lawrence case became a symbol of a wider problem, as an increase in violent crimes began to make the government look weak on law and order.
There is a real crime problem in Britain, and London is more dangerous these days than New York.
Last year, CBS News reported that the government's own crime statistics revealed that Britain is an increasingly violent society. One of Britain's leading trial lawyers says the shocking crime statistics panicked Prime Minister Tony Blair's government into going for a quick fix.
The quick fix solution is always the populist one. Let's get rid of jury trials. Let's abolish the rule against double jeopardy. Let's confiscate the assets of criminals without trial. But of course, this doesn't help to detect crime.
Or to stop it either. Jeffrey Robertson believes the government's plans to change criminal law add up to a major assault on the age-old right to a fair trial.
And all of this is happening in the country that gave to America its basic concepts of justice. One of those legal rights that the government is now chipping away at, trial by jury, was guaranteed here on the banks of the River Thames at Runnymede when King John signed the Magna Carta almost 800 years ago.
Civil rights lawyer Mike Mansfield believes the government couldn't care less about Magna Carta and is manipulating British law for political reasons to make itself look tough.
It's all about image, and it's not.
And what shocks him most is a plan to abolish the double jeopardy rule, the right not to be tried twice for the same crime.
The moment you allow a second bite of the cherry, then the first time round the police relax. They don't necessarily do the investigation they should have done.
In other words, says Jeffrey Robertson, it encourages bad police work.
I think it's fair to say that Britain has perhaps the stupidest police force in the advanced world.
Those may seem like harsh words, but civil rights advocates believe the British police are largely responsible for the government's poor record on crime and that changing the law will only make things worse.
With the Blair government looking weak on crime and facing an election, there are fears that it's about to ride roughshod over some of this country's ancient freedoms and that Magna Carta may soon be relegated to the role of just another British tourist attraction. On assignment in Runnymede, England, I'm Tom Fenton.
Up next here on the CBS Evening News, a miserable spring for people with allergies. We'll give you a close-up look at the reason for the sneezing.
Tonight's Health Watch report is sponsored by Detrol LA. Ask your doctor if Detrol LA is right for you.
Gotta go right now. Gotta go. Gotta go right now. Gotta go.
I have to go now.
If an overactive bladder makes you go and go and go, go to your doctor and ask about new Detrol LA.
Gotta go. Gotta go. Gotta go, gotta go. Gotta go.
Just one daily dose works for 24 hours to help control bladder contractions that cause those sudden urges and reduces accidents and bathroom visits.
Right now? Hey, I don't have to go.
New prescription Detrol LA. Individual results may vary. You shouldn't take it if you have certain kinds of stomach, urinary, or glaucoma problems. The most common side effects are dry mouth, constipation, abdominal pain, and headache.
And I don't have to go right now.
Ask your doctor about new Detrol LA for overactive bladder when you've always got to go.
Do dogs feel pride? Mighty dogs do. Do they know when they look good? If they show off, do other dogs care? Smaller dogs are more likely to develop skin conditions, so Mighty Dog contains the perfect balance of nutrients, including essential omega oils, proven to support a healthy skin and coat. Because dogs definitely know when you think they look good. Make your dog a Mighty Dog from Friskies.
Hey, wait, you still awake back there?
Yes, and it's my turn.
So why are we wasting our time with this? You know everyone likes the sweet side best.
That's just the point. I'm going to have to prove once and for all that people prefer me, the weed side.
Uh-huh. Yeah, well, maybe you should show a little leg.
We don't have any legs.
It's an expression.
It's not a very good expression.
Look, don't give me a lip.
We don't have any lips either.
Just watch the road.
Heart health. In the news, on your mind. And now, Centrum Focused Formulas for Heart has been clinically proven to reduce homocysteine, an emerging risk factor for heart disease. Centrum Focused Formulas for Heart.
Excuse me, where'd you get the blimp?
I bought a set of Goodyear tires.
I want some Goodyear tires.
Okay, honey.
At Sears Auto Center, all Goodyear tires are on sale at the lowest prices of the season. Sears, America's #1 tire retailer.
It's been a day of contrasting weather extremes in the nation. Record heat in the Northeast all the way up to New England. Had a lot of air conditioners running. But in Denver and several other cities in the West, it's a spring snowstorm, as much as 2 feet in some places. There, it's the furnace that's running. Wild weather patterns are a big factor in this year's spring allergy season. This is one of the worst yet for wheezing and sneezing. Correspondent Russ Mitchell snipped out the facts for tonight's CBS Health Watch.
Every morning, Dr. Donald DeVoren climbs on the roof, checks his air sampler, and gets the pollen count. This year, the numbers are through the roof.
This was a terrible spring for high pollen counts. This is one of the worst springs we've seen since 1993.
There's more evidence under the microscope. All those pink dots you see are tree pollen particles, saturating the air, covering cars, and making life miserable for millions.
No fun.
Juanita Billings is feeling it. How bad?
Scale 1 to 10, 8.5, 9.
While a pollen count above 90 is considered high, this spring several cities, including Cherry Hill, New Jersey, Atlanta, and St. Louis, have seen the count rise into the thousands. The problem, a wet winter, followed by a very cold early spring, kept pollen levels low. But in the last few weeks, temperatures have soared.
This year, the tremendous heat wave that we've been seeing has opened all of the plants so quickly that we're seeing a surge in pollen levels that we haven't seen in years.
These days, the phone rarely stops ringing for allergists like Dr. Stuart Kravitz.
We've certainly been probably busier now than in the past 5 to 10 years. So we're definitely seeing an increased number of new patients and existing patients who are coming in.
And for patients like Juanita Billings, the long winter has led to a spring of discontent.
I can't go outside, can't enjoy the weather.
And it's not over yet. Those same weather conditions that led to all that tree pollen will, in a few weeks, bring on a heavier than normal invasion of grass pollen. Russ Mitchell, CBS News, New York.
There's a diagnosis tonight of possible racial prejudice in treating stroke victims. Researchers at UC San Francisco find whites who suffer strokes are 5 times more likely than African Americans to receive clot-busting drugs. This study says this discrepancy exists even after considering many other factors, including insurance coverage. There's word tonight that one of the world's most famous musicians, former Beatle George Harrison, has had lung cancer surgery at the Mayo Clinic and is now recuperating back in Europe. Harrison is 58. He was treated previously for throat cancer, and a lung was injured in 1999 when an intruder in his home stabbed him.
This is Janice. How can I help you, Mr. Walker?
Yes, hi. I was having a bad day today. I've had enough! I decided that I was gonna get in my car and Come on, take a drive. Anyway, I took a wrong turn.
Relax. We'll get you home.
Impala LS with 200 horsepower and, fortunately, OnStar. Chevy Impala. We'll be there.
Looking for a quiet moment? Get a quieter cookie. Soft, fruit, chewy Fig Newtons. Time out from the everyday crunch.
Yoo-hoo! Take that laxative and you miss the bus. Huh? It contains harsh stimulants. Says on the label it could cause abdominal discomfort and cramps.
Sounds worse than constipation.
Oh, you bet. But Phillips is different. It's gentle and stimulant-free, so you don't have to feel worse before you feel better.
That's great.
Excuse me?
I said the bus is late.
Phillips, the comfortable way.
You know, when a toilet bowl overflows over the floor, it's not a nice thing. You could have a lot of trouble with your septic if you don't maintain it. It could also back up on the lawn. It's cheaper to maintain your septic system.
The bacteria and enzymes in Rid-X help prevent septic backups. Use Rid-X once a month.
Glade Plug-in's Extra Outlet has the extra outlet built right in. So you can make any room in your home Glade fresh without blocking your outlets. Plug-in's Extra Outlet, fresh from Glade.
Plug it in, plug it in.
Have you gotten yourself into too much credit card debt? Why not point and click your way out of your current debt with a second mortgage from Ditech.com? Whether you have equity or no equity, Ditech has a second mortgage with no closing costs to help you lower your monthly payments now. So point and click your way out of high-interest, non-tax deductible credit card debt at Ditech.com. Apply online or call us at 1-800-71-FIXED right now.
I may look young, but I still suffer from hot flashes. I discovered a natural way to deal with it. Healthy Woman, from the makers of Monistat. Healthy Woman's a soy menopause supplement that helps relieve hot flashes and night sweats. Healthy Woman.
Backyard wrestling. We reported recently on this fast-growing and dangerous fad. Tomorrow, you'll meet John and see how he was severely injured and almost died in a backyard wrestling accident. If you're a parent, don't miss this important Eye on America report on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
The United States today condemned an ambush attack by ethnic Albanian rebels in Macedonia. The rebels killed 2 government soldiers and kidnapped a 3rd near a town just 15 miles from the Macedonian capital. This triggered a new government offensive. Macedonian forces blasted hillsides where the Albanians were thought to be holed up. In a jail in neighboring Serbia today, a court official tried to hand a war crimes arrest warrant to former Yugoslav President Slobodan Milosevic. Milosevic refused it, but the United Nations War Crimes Tribunal said it now expects him to be turned over for trial. U.S. Secretary of State Colin Powell said today that President Bush may ask Congress for extra money to help Israel's military pay for months of fighting the Palestinians. And as CBS's man in the region, David Hawkins, reports tonight, the violence seems likely to go on despite some new diplomatic talk about seeking a fresh path to peace.
In Washington to discuss a U.S.-backed ceasefire plan, Israel's foreign minister, Shimon Peres, says that Israel is ready to make painful concessions to the Palestinians. But back at home, his boss is singing an entirely different tune. Prime Minister Ariel Sharon promised Jewish settlers living in the West Bank that most of the disputed land will remain in Israeli hands forever. Israel has so far rejected the ceasefire proposal, objecting to its call for a freeze on settlement construction in the occupied territories. And as his foreign minister talked peace, Sharon ordered tanks and bulldozers into the Gaza Strip to destroy another refugee camp there. Despite Yasser Arafat's recent call for a halt to attacks on Israel, Sharon says Arafat is behind the recent wave of terrorism, adding, quote, "We do not believe a single word of the Palestinians." On his diplomatic tour, Peres, however, continues to call the Palestinian president a partner for peace. Their tone may be different, but a member of Sharon's cabinet says the bottom line is the same.
As far as we are not arrived yet to that table of the negotiation with the Palestinians, there is no differences between Sharon and Mr. Peres. Both want to make total stop of violence.
It's not clear whether the good cop, bad cop routine reflects division in Israel's government or if it's a strategy to present a dovish face abroad while waging war at home. Either way, it's sending a mixed message about Israel's willingness to resume peace talks. David Hawkins, CBS News, Tel Aviv.
Also today, Yasser Arafat's wife was quoted in an Arab women's magazine as saying she hates Israel. Soha Arafat said she sees no chance for peace between Israelis and Palestinians anytime soon.
What if you could reverse an effect of aging on your dog's immune system? Feed him IAMS Active Maturity Formula after age 5. It's the first dog food shown to help restore vital cells in his immune system, so you can shape what tomorrow brings. IAMS. Good for today, good for tomorrow, good for life.
Meet Mark. Mark marks. Mark's mom, Peg, pledges. Pledge removes marker marks. Pledge stops crayon marks. Pledge gets very high marks. Everywhere Mark marks. Pledge cleans, conditions, and protects from a world full of marks.
Our vision of the future? To see more family and friends.
Because health concerns change after 50, Centrum Silver added lutein. Emerging science suggests that lutein and other nutrients may help reduce the risk of cataracts. Give your life a silver lining with Centrum Silver.
When I started in the real estate business, I was on my own. You have to go out there, you have to find it. Nobody comes to you.
When she came in and we just started talking, she told me about the real estate business, what she wanted.
You know, I've gone to a laptop, digital camera, wireless modem.
We set up with the Gateway Solo 5300 XL featuring the Intel Pentium 3 processor.
By going to Gateway, I have a partner. I have everything that I need.
Come into a Gateway Country store and let us help you with your business.
Did you know nearly 40% of women in their 60s have osteoporosis? Although your risk may vary, it does increase with age. But there is something you can do. Ask your doctor about a simple, painless bone density test and if treatments can help.
I've got this life philosophy. When you get thrown, you get right back up. So I took control with Depend Protective Underwear. Closest thing to regular underwear, so I don't have to worry. Take control with Depend.
Now in super absorbent.
Yesterday, allergies took you out of it. Today, Allegra can help bring you back. Only Allegra has fexofenadine for once daily relief for people 12 and older. Side effects include headache, upper respiratory tract infection, and back pain. Call your doctor now for more information. Allegra, enjoy your world.
A couple sues the Portland School District claiming their 7-year-old daughter was sexually abused during class. At 6.
If you've ever gone out on a limb for something you believe in, you've got to appreciate this bit of risky business, going out on a ledge and dodging an angry mother peregrine falcon to give her chicks a checkup. It's an annual event in downtown Pittsburgh where the peregrines have perched on a high-rise for 11 years. Examined and tagged, the chicks were gently replaced back in the nest, no harm done. And that's part of our world tonight. Dan Rather reporting for the CBS Evening News. We hope you'll join us again tomorrow, same time, same station. Good night.
For news 24 hours a day, CBS.com on the internet and on our interactive partner, America Online at keyword CBS News.
See what backyard wrestling did to him. Eye on America tomorrow. Experience CBS